What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ancient Blood and Light. This is Caleb. So I wanted to jump on the subject of remote viewing because I feel like, sometimes it can be mistaken as astral projection. And as you see, I'm out here in nature. I would say remote viewing is like mental projection, basically. And, I would talk about my experience, of course. First, check this out. I'm at Ashley Reservoir in Holyoke. It's not too far from the headquarters where my job is. Look at this tree. Imagine you could take this if you were a giant and then you could like use it as a weapon. Like that's a girl from Yu Yu Hakusho. Anyways, when I was a kid, remote viewing was like practiced a lot without me even knowing what the hell it was. But I know that I had this gift. Every time I lose an object or an action figure or my house keys, I will always know exactly where they're at. I will see through my mind's eye. Like house keys, found in my parents' room. I saw through my mind's eye. Found it behind the toy box. Saw through my mind's eye. And I remember this one time me and my brother was like, we watched this anime on Fox. Totally forgot the name. If it comes to me, maybe someday I'll put it in the comments. Shit. These sticks falling. These squirrels trying to kill me. So in the anime, this girl was teaching this guy who was like piloting this mech. It took place in the Renaissance era. You probably know what it is if I describe it. Renaissance era, they use these robots. It's kind of like Gundams, but they're like knights. And this girl who was supposedly a princess was like teaching him how to find this opponent who could turn into like invisible. So basically what he did was told him to close your eyes and just sense him or like see him. And then he was able to do that. He saw him through his mind's eye, and he was able to like stab his enemy, like destroy his mech, and explode it. And it's like remote viewing is, I don't know, there's different ways that people do it. But how I did it was sometimes it just automatically happens. Like it's effortless, and there are times it's like I would center myself, be completely calm, and be very relaxed. And then with my attentions, while my mind is clear, I see what I want to see. I would see this person, I would see this place, I would see the planet Saturn, which is very intimidating when you see it. Like it's just pitch black all around it, and then you see this planet and it's just fucking intimidating. Even though you're not physically in front of it, it's there. And I know some people will try to remote view to see if the earth is flat. To be honest, I attempted that myself, and I guess my subconscious was just showing me like what I expected to see or something. Like I did see it is a spirit. I do believe it's hollow. Maybe this whole flat earth thing is just someone's unknowing astral projection experience, and then they just wanted to write out there. Who knows? But remote viewing, so somebody within the government, they use remote viewers, a specific remote viewer, to find Osama bin Laden. I personally would say they already knew where he was at, but they still wanted to use this guy to find him without this guy possibly knowing. Why is somebody underwear right there? You see that? Anyways, without this guy possibly knowing like what the hell they're looking for. I don't want to walk deep in that way. I don't want to run into snakes, so I'll just walk back. Anyways. And they found him. They find a lot of people who they want to look for, who's like, I guess I could say they're blacklists of criminals that they want to find and, take them out or whatever, or find stuff out. And there was like a project, like some person at a workshop had people to practice it. He explained that to people. But this workshop took place like in the late 90s or early 2000s or something like that. So he had these people, he talked about psychic abilities, and then he had these people close their eyes and describe this area. I would say it was somewhere in Florida that they saw, because they all saw the same thing. It was pine trees, well, not pine trees, but coconut trees. I don't know what those kind of trees are, but they're also in California. But this is in Florida, and they just described it. They drew it actually, and they all put it down. He looked at it and then saw that they all had the same thing. Let me go this way. I don't want people with loud mouths interrupting my video. So, what do you do is like you just center yourself, just calm and relax, get into that meditative state. You get into a trance, and basically, and with your attentions, you see what you want to see. And just make sure you're using your attentions to see what's in the present, because your mind's eye could go off where you just end up seeing things that's in the future or past. It looks like a snake hole. So just gotta like keep stumping and scare them away so they feel that vibration. So yeah, that's what you do, and it could take time. For some people, it's like it can happen right away, and for others, they could describe like a little something, like a little snippet of what they see through their mind's eye, and be like, oh, I saw this, I saw that, and then they could write it down, take notes, and describe it to somebody. And that goes back to that experience with me and my brother after we saw that episode on that anime with that girl was teaching this guy how to use his that ability. So I had him go in the other room, and then I would try and I would see him dancing and he's like, yeah, you're right, that's what it's doing. What is that? Is that a snake for real? I don't know what that is. That wasn't a snake, but I don't know, chipmunk or something. But anyways, stay away from me. Stay in your hole. I don't know what that is, but it better not come out. But yeah, don't want Alvin and the chipmunks come at me. So yeah, and I did the same thing. I went into the room, he closed his eyes, and then I was like doing the moonwalk, which he saw me do. And it was just really fun. Like remote viewing is very interesting, and I believe like not only that, but you can also see inner dimensions and whatnot. So I think that's why people get it mixed up and say that it's actual projection, but it's not, because actual projection is obviously when you leave your physical body. Well, maybe you don't actually leave your physical body, your consciousness just goes to another place, which why I would say this is another reason why they think that it's the same as astral projection. But remote viewing is just mental projection. So I mean, it might be a little confusing to other people, but everyone else knows what I'm talking about. So see other beings and whatnot. You can use remote viewing to see through an animal's eyes, and a lot of people know what I'm talking about. If you watch Game of Thrones, this is what they did. So I like to see through the eyes of my spirit familiar, and see people or things, like other things, and like not to spy purposely, but just to make sure they're okay. Some people who you haven't heard from, they'd say that they were gonna like check you out later, and then you didn't hear from them, then you get worried, and it's like, okay, just let me see through your eyes, and then I see through my hellhound's eyes. And the more deeper you practice stuff, the more stronger you get, because when you're messing with energy work and any kind of form of magic and such, you are making it stronger, because it's like you're working with a muscle. It's like going to the gym, you just keep making it more stronger. And I wish I could know anyone else's experience in remote viewing. But let's say if you were to, like, you obviously could use that to find someone who's missing, right? Which I had at least like 1 or 2 people. I helped a friend of mine like years ago, and because she knew someone who was like missing, and I described the area in the house, and that's exactly where she had found her. And I was very happy to help, and knowing, having confidence in my gift to actually do that. You can help people, and that's something that I'm looking forward to, is knowing that people have used their gifts to help others, not just to attack someone. If you have to, though, obviously, if you had to, then fucking do it. But it is a interesting topic that I was debating on, like, making a video on it, because it's just already out there, but I feel like a lot more people just really need to keep learning these things, because I feel like a lot of people are swaying away from their spirituality again. Like, there's people who's in it, but then some are swaying from it because people get so deep into politics, what's going on today, and especially like the topics of like QAnon and stuff like that, and the white hats. But like, I was like, last year I was kind of swaying away from it, but then I just like got pulled back into my spirituality. I pulled myself back into it. So yeah, I still like look into politics, whatever, but I keep myself well grounded into my spirituality, and use remote viewing to even see someone's future. You use that to see a past life, and technically that is a form of remote viewing, because you're tapping into that energy. And I feel like that's just some people who are successful even use like this one guy, I forgot his name, he used it to win the lottery like multiple times. You can't tell me I haven't tried. And yeah, so I guess you could say I wasn't that strong enough to do it. Like, I just wasn't that clear-minded and well-grounded to do it. It was just kind of hard to like get my mind clear, but I still had the confidence to at least try, and maybe one day I will try again. But that's my topic on remote viewing, and I would love to understand your experiences and how do you practice it. I think it will be completely interesting. See you later.